Welcome to the Get Smart with Money podcast. I'm your host, Dana Hernandez, financial planner and author of Get Smart with Money, Break Free from the Struggle, Build Wealth on Your Terms, and Rewrite Your Money Story. Here we talk about money, entrepreneurship, growth, and resilience, because financial freedom is about more than just numbers. Each week, you'll get practical strategies, inspiring stories, and the motivation you need to stress less about money and create more freedom in your life. Let's get smart with money together. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the show. Today, I have a very special guest. Her name is Shawnee Harle. She is a two-time Olympic coach and mental toughness coach. Thank you for being here, Shawnee.
This is going to be awesome. Let's get going.
Oh, yeah. So you were a coach in the Olympics. That is very impressive to me. I know that it will definitely be impressive to some of the listeners as well, because I'm a huge fan of the Olympics. I don't think I've ever missed an Olympics, ever. I don't have cable, though, so I've missed kind of a lot, but I always definitely make sure and tune in wherever I'm at. If there's a TV, it's always on. So during that time, everyone has the Olympics on wherever you're at, like a bar or whatever. So I always watch what I can because I don't pay for TV. But the Olympics is like some of my favorite times of years that come around. So very cool.
Being there in person, having the Olympic experience, you wake up in the morning, like, holy crap. I'm at the Olympics. What the hell?
Yeah, it's one of my dreams to go. Yeah. Awesome. So how did you first become a coach in the Olympics?
That was not the original plan, I can tell you for sure. In my high school yearbook, I wrote that I wanted to go to the Olympics. But I think I forgot to say as an athlete.
You weren't specific.
I wasn't specific enough. And anyway, I went on to play college basketball, and I was really average. I was from a small town. So in the small town, I was a big fish in a little pond. And then when I went to college, I was a tiny, tiny little fish in an enormous pond. And I sat the bench mostly. And then I ended up getting cut. And I was so ticked off. It's like, are you kidding me? I mean, you're young, right? You're young and
your heart's all in it. Yeah.
Yes. And self-awareness is low. And I obviously thought I was better than I was. But the cool part of the story is the coach that cut me, she said, have you ever thought about getting into coaching? I'm like, no, I'm going to the Olympics as an athlete. Didn't you read my yearbook? And that was kind of how it started. She saw something in me that I had never considered. And also when you're young, right, we have these blind spots and these blinders on, and we think there's only one path. And she showed me another path. And I'm so grateful for that, because I figured out that was actually my true calling, because I was kind of average as an athlete.
Okay. Awesome. I love that you admit it. And obviously you love coaching. Otherwise you probably wouldn't have gone back a second time to the Olympics.
Oh, exactly. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Awesome. So who are some people that you coach? I don't know if you could say names, but what do they do?
Oh, the sport is women's basketball.
Okay.
And it's with our Canadian national women's team. And they're currently ranked 4th in the world, which is pretty darn good. At the time when we were at the Olympics in Rio, we were ranked 5th in the world. So I got to be part of, basketball, an uprising, so to speak, of basketball in our country. We're known for hockey for sure.
Yeah.
And not as much for basketball. And starting in 2012, that was before I got there, but there was some tremendous work being done by the previous coaches. And we just started going like that. And we went from nobodies all the way to fifth in the world, and now currently ranked fourth in the world. So I got to be part of that uprising.
Wow, that's really, really exciting. So cool. I always wanted to be an Olympian when I was younger because I played volleyball and I loved it. I played for 5 years, middle school to high school. And just I had always watched the Olympics, always like it's just so energizing watching the Olympics, and it's like a huge goal. Like I feel like a lot of people have that goal.
Well, having a goal there's nothing wrong with having a goal. I'm a fan of that. I'm a mental toughness coach, so goals are part of what we do. But I haven't, I will say when you raise the bar as high as wanting to be an Olympian, that funnel gets really, really narrow very quickly. And the narrower the funnel gets, the fewer people that fit through it.
That makes sense.
And it's so hard just to get there. I mean, we see all the people that are there and we're celebrating and we're watching their sports. Well, we didn't see the 4 years, the 8 years, the 12 years, the 15 years, the 20 years leading up to that. The journey is long and the journey is arduous.
Mm-hmm. I am sure it is. And I know for a lot of the Chinese athletes, they start when they're kids, like they're like taken from their families, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is insane. That's insane. But yeah, no, I love the Olympics. It's a special time for sure.
I can't wait till next summer. They're going to be
Yes,
on.
I know.
Get ready to get glued to the TV.
Oh yeah, I know. Volleyball is definitely one that I make sure to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. So what do you tell people when you're coaching them? I don't even know. Just keep talking.
Well, what's interesting is in the mental toughness coaching that I do, the parents sign their athlete up to work with me.
Okay.
And they often, one of the first things they say is, I want you to help my athlete become more confident. And I'm like, don't hire me for that. And here's why. Confidence is a word that's used a lot. Life, sport, work.
Yeah.
The confidence comes up a lot. I think it's overrated and misunderstood. It's an emotion based on results. If you're good at something, do you have to try hard to be confident?
No.
No. If you're crappy at something and somebody says, hey, just get out there and be confident, that's bad advice.
Yeah.
Because confidence and competence are connected.
Yeah.
And so I tell athletes, you want more confidence? Get better. There, done. Solved your problem. So what I teach instead, so I don't use that word, but it's used. And so I'll talk about it. But what I teach and what we focus on is instead of trying to get confident, remember, it's an emotion. It's not a personality characteristic. I teach courage because I think courage is far more powerful than confidence.
Yeah.
Confidence is an emotion. Courage is an action. We can choose to be courageous even when we lack confidence.
Mm-hmm.
And think about that in sport, which is my context. How many athletes show up to a game feeling nervous, unconfident, lacking self-trust? They have negative self-talk going on. And then someone says to them, just get out there and be confident. You can see why it's bad advice.
Yeah.
But what if all of us, not just athletes, what if all of us had clarity on what our courageous self would do? What would our courageous self say? How would our courageous self show up right now? I think those are really, really great questions. And I also help people reframe. So let's say lack of confidence. I use the word fear because fear is the underlying nerves. We're fearful. We're worried. We're fearful. Fear is the underlying emotion that's going on most often.
Mm-hmm.
And so I teach my clients this. What if we could reframe fear to this? Without fear, there can be no courage.
True.
So if you never feel fearful, how are you supposed to practice courage? If you never feel nervous, how are you supposed to practice courage? If you're never worried, how are you supposed to practice courage? These, quote, negative emotions that come up all of the time are actually opportunities for us if we use our emotional intelligence and our self-awareness. And we understand and we acknowledge and we recognize, I'm feeling this. Be like, okay, how could I be courageous even though I'm feeling nervous, worried, anxious, unconfident?
Yeah, it's a good thing to journal on too. It's like questions you need to ask yourself and journal on. Just like that. That makes a lot of sense. Everybody has fear, and I think fear definitely motivates people to be courageous and take risks. It definitely motivates me to do that. I'm kind of more of a doer than thinking about some things. I just kind of go for it just to try it out. And somebody actually complimented me on that the other day.
Well, that's mental toughness right there. Is we're fearful and we take action. That word "and," that's a really important word. It's not but, it's not or, no, it's and. We feel fearful and we take action.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you that if we don't pay attention to what's going on with us, we'll have this negative emotion and we will hide.
Yeah.
Hide, avoid, pretend, push it under the carpet. Try not to think about it.
Stay comfortable.
Stay comfortable. And I believe that when we do that, it's the opposite of emotional intelligence because we're trying not to have a feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how are we supposed to be emotionally intelligent if we're trying not to have a feeling? That doesn't work that way. What I believe is that they're called feelings because we're supposed to feel them. All of them.
Yeah.
Because feelings bring information. But if we choose not to listen, we miss the information the feeling is bringing.
Yeah, that's definitely true. That's how we learn. Period. That's how we grow, and we learn from our mistakes or from other people. And just, we don't want to put ourselves in another situation that's going to make us feel like this again. So good thing we already felt it, because now we know.
Well, you brought up another great point, is that when we practice facing all of our feelings, we get better at it. Our tolerance grows.
Mm-hmm.
Because of like, oh, I've felt this before.
Yeah.
This isn't a new feeling. I have felt this before. I have experience with this feeling.
Mm-hmm.
That's mental toughness right there.
Yeah. So adversity is going to happen no matter what. So you might as well build up that I guess confidence, but that tolerance, period, because it's just going to make it easier for you to deal with things when they come up.
And if we do the opposite, if we push it away, we don't grow tolerance. Mm-hmm. We don't increase our tolerance, and we will continue to hide, and we will be fearful of our feelings.
And fearful of change, period. Fearful of things that we've never done before and just not even want to try.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's how we grow as well.
Dang it. Wouldn't wish there was an easier formula.
I know. You just got to
I
learn the
don't
hard
know
way.
I don't know. Do you know? I don't know of an easier formula. The formula is always kind of like the ones we just said.
Right.
It's hard, it's uncomfortable, and the road is windy and twisty.
And bumpy and all kinds of things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's funny when you have friends I have some friends that don't want to change. They kind of complain sometimes. They keep doing the same things over and over, but it's because they want to stay comfortable. But in the end, it's hurting them. Like being a people pleaser, that just brings more anxiety on you, and it just puts more stress on you trying to keep the peace with everybody around you.
There's a great saying. I don't know where I heard it, but I really liked it. And it says, it says, people don't fear change. They fear being changed. And I thought, wow, that felt true to me. And when we think about the concept of people pleasing, I'm going to come back to sport again. And you think about this people pleasing thing that is happening in sport. Athletes are trying to please the coach, their parents, their teammates, maybe the scouts and recruiters, definitely social media. The coach is trying to please the parents, the athletes, the parents are like, there's this web going on of everyone trying to please everyone.
Wow.
But what I teach, and again, I don't know this is not my idea, but it might be helpful for your listeners. When we are stuck in people pleasing, what I teach the athletes that I work with and parents and coaches, is that it's called FOPO. It's an acronym, FOPO, fear of people's opinions. Because when we people please, we are trying to avoid disapproval.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to avoid negative judgment. And good luck with that, by the way.
Right.
Because what happens is we will often defer and please others while letting ourselves down.
Yeah.
We say yes when we want to say no. We laugh at jokes that aren't funny. We don't want to rock the boat, so we keep quiet. And we know inside that when we do that, we're letting ourselves down. And this happens in sport so often, and life. And so what happens in sport is when we have FOPO, fear of people's opinions, do you know how worried athletes get about making mistakes?
They probably have huge anxiety attacks about it.
Oh, huge.
Oh my God.
And so, but here's what's interesting. They don't truly know what's going on. And so I asked them, tell me something that you're afraid of. And they kind of think about it for a minute. And they're like, I'm definitely afraid of making mistakes. I said, no, you're not. What? I said, you're not afraid of making mistakes. Mistakes are things. We're not afraid of things. We're afraid of our feelings. We're afraid of how we feel when a mistake gets made, because what happens is we get disapproved of. Yeah. We get yelled at, we get criticized, we get corrected, we even get punished.
And laughed at, embarrassed.
Laughed at. And so I asked them, when you're afraid of making a mistake, what's the biggest feeling that comes up that you dislike the most? Embarrassed.
Yeah.
But go underneath embarrassed. What's the root of embarrassment? The fear of disapproval.
Yeah. And ridicule.
So, yes. Because if we made a mistake and we got applauded, we wouldn't feel embarrassed.
Right.
So it's kind of interesting when we dig underneath these feelings and we have a look at what's going on with us. That's why I said it's so important that we feel our feelings instead of hide and avoid them. Because if we don't really know what's going on, how are we supposed to solve the right problem? If an athlete thinks they're afraid of making mistakes and they're trying to solve that, and I'm like, that's not the problem. The problem is the fear of the feeling. Okay, good. Now we know. Now we can solve the right problem.
Right. I just really like how you're using these analogies, because this is your field.
But if you think about these feelings, this whole concept that we're talking about, and FOPO, and fear of disapproval, and being nice. I just was I did some corporate coaching just last week, and I did a workshop for this group of employees. And it was one of the things that I talked about is I said to them, I said, one of the biggest things that shows up when we're in a group setting, because remember, we want to be accepted. Mm-hmm. We want to be part of the group. We want to be liked. Totally normal. And there is nothing wrong with any of that. And I started showing this group, these employees, of, can you think of some behaviors that you do that are inauthentic? But you do it to gain approval, to be liked, to fit in. And anyway, we had discussion around that. And it is, as soon as I bring it to light, they're like, oh my goodness. And they can start putting all of these behaviors out on the table. And I'm like, okay, so you can see how normal this is. We all have FOPO. But if we don't know that's what's going on, how can we change our behaviors?
Yeah.
And when we can understand, oh, this is what I'm doing. Oh, I see. I'm saying yes when I really mean no, because I'm trying to fit in. I'm trying to be liked. Now it's like, wow, now I have a flashlight. It's like before I've been fumbling around in the dark, stumbling over things. And all of a sudden I get a flashlight. I'm like, oh, okay. I can see what's going on with me.
Yeah.
This is the first part of emotional intelligence.
Exactly. I feel like a good example of that would be like if your coworkers are going out after work and they invite you, but you really don't like a couple of them or something, you should probably say no instead of saying yes and suffering through it because you really don't want to go.
That's one option.
Mm-hmm.
The other option is, I really don't want to go, but I understand that team chemistry is an important part of our group. So I am going to go, and I'm going to make a commitment that my greatest self is going to show up this evening, even with the people that irritate me.
Okay. Cool. Courage. I feel like that's definitely courage.
And really what matters the most is that, as I call, like, it's like we got to this fork in the road. It's like, oh, I have a decision in front of me. This thing is happening. They're going for drinks after work, and I can go one of two ways. I can not go, or I can go. So now we're making a decision with intention instead of, well, this is what I feel like, I'm just going to do this, or I don't feel like it, so I'm going to do that. In other words, when we make a decision with intention, that's different than letting feelings drive our behavior.
Yes.
So those are different things. The fork in the road. I can be intentional. I can do this or I can do this rather than my default.
Yeah. I can go, I can not go, but if I go, then when I'm there, my intention is, or how can I make the best of it? It's time for a short commercial break. So I have some questions for you. Do you need to improve your knowledge about how money works? Are you sick of workplace drama? Are you someone who likes helping others? Would making extra money help you? Do you have a why? If you answered yes to these questions, I'm looking for you. I want driven individuals to join me in financial services. New leaders, new friends, and humans who just want to be around other like-minded humans. Most importantly, someone willing to show up for themselves and do whatever it takes to get ahead. Is that you? If it is, go book a Zoom call with me today using the Calendly link in the description of this episode. And share this with anyone you know that can answer those questions just like you did. I can't wait to meet you.
Yes. And here's another thing I would add. I don't think there's very many free decisions in life. Yes, there are. What are you going to have for breakfast? Okay. But if we get into some of these bigger decisions, so I talked about that fork in the road. I can either go out with the group or I can go home and not go, one of those two things. What I think is also very helpful, and I believe it's also part of emotional intelligence and self-awareness, is if I choose not to go, what's the cost? What's the reward?
Exactly.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So later tonight, I have something that I could go to or I don't have to go to. So I'm thinking all day, I'm like, okay, if I go, I can probably meet somebody that I have never met before and they might have some connection or just they might be a really cool person. Who knows? But then I'm like, at the same time, maybe I should just stay home, eat here, hang out with my dogs because I don't have a lot of free time. But I'm like, I'm thinking I should probably go just because a lot of more possibilities are awaiting there than staying at home. So I'm just going to make the best out of it. So when I'm there, I'm going to talk to like 2 people that I've never met before. That's my goal.
So that's just the clarity on if I choose this, it means I have to give up time by myself at home. That's the cost. The reward is maybe I have some new connections.
Yeah.
Right. So it's always this balance of when we show up with intention, when we pay attention, and now we get clarity on, okay, I'm standing in the fork in the road. Standing at the fork in the road. I'm going to go this way. I'm going to go that way. Neither one of those are free.
Mm-hmm.
What's the cost and reward? And then at least we get to make some decisions with some clarity instead of just, well, I feel like this, so I guess I'm going to decide that. But no, we get to shine a light on what's really going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I could be like, oh, there's free food. So yeah, I'm going to go get the free food.
There's a reward.
I mean, that's cool, but I'm mainly going to network because I love networking. So I might as well make the most out of the night that I actually don't have to be at work. So, So besides like athlete coaching and going to corporations, what else do you do?
Well, I mean, coaching it's a broad term, right? There's a lot of coaching that I can do. I work with athletes, parents, and coaches. I do corporate coaching. I do life coaching. I work with teams in business and I work with teams in sport to help them to become high performers, to help them become highly functioning teams and highly functioning people. And the basis of everything that I teach is that we have to turn the mirror toward ourselves. And we have to be willing to take a truthful look at what the mirror is showing us. And not everyone likes to do that, right? I guess another word for that is introspection. Mm-hmm. Because I believe that the hardest person to work with is ourselves. The hardest person to coach is ourselves. Mm-hmm. But that's where I believe leadership begins. We have to first lead ourselves before we can lead others. And I teach this to coaches, anyone in a position of power. So this is also in my corporate coaching. Leaders are talking all of the time about, oh, I want to change this and I want to do that and these people and all this going on. And I'm like, when was the last time you thought about what it would look like to lead yourself? Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh, haven't thought about that. I'm like, yeah, I know. It's a really good thing
it's interesting
to think about.
Yeah. I had to put my candle out real quick because it cracked my I had a little candle here and like a little tea light thing, but it like cracked the glass, and I was like, whoa.
That must have been really hot to do that.
Yeah. I know. I see a crack and then this little part that's actually pretty hot. Yeah. This little piece of glass. Huh. That was surprising. Anyway, yes. Introspection.
Yeah, and this is what I would add. I think the best thing that I do for people is I help them figure out what to do with how they feel. Because in my opinion, life is just a series of storms. Mm-hmm. Relationships, a series of storms. Work, sport, right? It's a series of storms because it's not sunny every day. And if we continue with that analogy of storms, I believe that most of the storms are emotional, not physical. They're emotional storms. So here we are in this storm. We've got all of these feelings going on, and we don't know what to do with all those thoughts and feelings. And then we can get stuck in there. And I believe that's the best thing that I help clients with is like, the storm's coming. The storm's coming. You don't prepare for the storm in the storm. That would be like,
that's true.
That would be like out in the middle of a lake, an ocean, and your boat gets swamped and you're in the water and you're drowning. And somebody says, "Oh, would you like me to give you swimming lessons?" I'm like, no. I needed swim lessons about 3 months ago.
Yeah.
So we don't prepare for the storm in the storm. We prepare before the storm. And if the storm is emotional and it's always about our thoughts and feelings, mm-hmm. What are we doing with that on a daily basis? Are we feeling our feelings? Are we acknowledging them? Are we paying attention to them? Are we managing them? Mm-hmm. Are we letting our feelings drive our behavior? Are we recognizing the fork in the road where we're choosing with intention? I think these are life-changing mental toughness tools. And it's not just for sport, for life.
Yeah, for life.
We're going to have these storms.
Oh, yeah. They're coming no matter what. They're going to roll in and roll out. And me being in business and stuff, being a financial planner, I started this 3 years ago, and I just completely jumped in completely and started just finding all kinds of podcasts on mental toughness and self-development and going on YouTube and listening to all these different speakers. And 3 years later now, when things happen, it is better. Like, I react better, or sometimes I don't really react, which is, I think, really important, because a lot of people are just like immediate to react and they kind of blow up or something. And I'm not like that anymore at all. I don't hang on to things. I don't dwell on stuff, but sometimes, you can't help when you get frustrated and you just need to cry for a second, but that's you feeling the storm and letting it roll through, but it's going to be gone probably in like an hour.
There's a difference between react and respond.
Yeah. That's very true.
I think as we get more emotionally intelligent and self-aware, I think we get better at responding. I've always, for myself, before I started doing, this inner work, I was a reactor. And when I look back on it, my reactions were always emotional. I'm mad. I want to get back at just like it's like you're in all these emotional reactions. Mm-hmm. And now I'm way better at responding, where I can pause for a moment and I can let my rational brain kick in instead of my emotional brain. But that takes work, because I think I think the emotional reaction is the first thing that comes for most of us. And I've just gotten better at, the emotional thing comes, but I'm better at just pausing for a moment and see if my rational brain can take over. There's another great saying. It says, between stimulus and response, there is a space. And in that space lies our freedom. I never took advantage of that space. There would be a stimulus and right away I'd have a reaction. And what I've learned, it's like, wow, no, you can have a stimulus, but there's a little space. Sometimes it's just like milliseconds in there. And if I can catch that little space, it really helps me respond instead of react.
Yeah, definitely. I know what you mean. It's crazy. Like this self-development stuff really, really pays off, but you really, really have to work at it. It's not going to come overnight. You have to just kind of immerse yourself in it like I did. I'm sure you did. Because it's like the most important thing that you can do for everybody around you as well, not just yourself. You can't just be like a huge rain cloud all the time, you know, for everybody. Like you can't just be reacting to everything.
Don't you think it's kind of cool though, that this whole package that we're talking about, it's a skill.
Yeah.
That means we don't have to be born with it. It's a skill.
Yeah.
And I use the analogy, this is perfect for sport. It's like, oh, you want to get better at your slap shot or your jump shot? You got to go practice because it's a skill. You're not born great at those things. And this mental toughness, emotional intelligence, self-awareness, whatever, this package that we're talking about, I think it is so awesome that it's a skill. That means I can get better at it.
Yeah.
But only if I practice it. There's no, I just can't get a prescription and go down to the local drugstore and, here, take one of these 3 times a day with your food. And then all of a sudden you're going to be amazing at this. You have to work at it. And even more importantly, you have to be willing to work at it.
Yeah. Yeah. Something has to be motivating you enough to make you do it too. Like I was talking to somebody yesterday and he went through a divorce and he just noticed after and like during the divorce how he's been. He was like, I wasn't the best spouse. And because I would complain all the time, I would do this all the time. And he realized who would want to be around somebody like that. Like, no wonder I didn't have any friends. So he was like, okay, like he really dove in and started fixing himself. And he's like, yeah, now I don't complain. And now I have all these people coming around me wanting to hang out with me and just be my friend now. And I'm like, awesome. Like it is something you can learn and teach yourself, but you have to be diligent about it. And I don't know what it is. Like you just have to just be conscious every single day at all times of the day that you want to do it, and you implement all these practices because it's practice. So yeah, you just have to do it. And I love it. I'm addicted to it.
It's what I've learned is that you can't always wait for the feeling of motivation to move you forward, because there's a lot of days where that feeling just does not appear.
It's true. That's true. Maybe it's not motivation, just determination.
Yeah. And clarity on your why.
Yeah.
Why do I want to do this? There's 3 words that I think are very powerful. Be, do, have. Be willing to do what it takes to have what you want. And if you start at the end and work backwards, what is it that I want? Like when we get clarity on this thing over here, what is it that I want? What will it take for me to get it? Am I willing?
Mm-hmm.
Those are important questions to ask ourselves. It's very common for me when I'm working with clients, is not just athletes, but life clients, corporate clients, and they tell me all of these things that they want. And I'm like, whoop, whoop. That's not special. Everyone wants it. How come so few people get it? And I think it's because we don't go through that formula of, I want this, but here's what it's going to take.
Mm-hmm.
And am I truly willing to put in the work to get what I want?
Yeah, exactly. That makes a lot of sense of why people don't have what they want all the time.
Because it takes work.
Yeah. I have a mission statement, like a personal mission statement that I made. I put it on a piece of wood and I got these little wood letters and I stuck them on the board and I painted everything, and it's in the kitchen, so I see it every day. It's I am courageous and I will do whatever it takes.
Interesting. You use the word courageous, not confident.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, because like, I was nervous to start this podcast, but I was like, something is like telling me to do it. So I figured out how to build this podcast and what I needed to get, what programs I needed, how I needed to go about it, period. And I did. And here we are. It's not always the easiest thing, but and some days I'm like, ugh, like so just not wanting to do it, but I know that I want to keep it going and I keep wanting to show up and do it because I think it's either helping people already or it's helping me with my interviewing skills. I'm getting better and better at it. It's just practice at the end of the day.
You said something interesting there. You said showing up and doing it even when I don't feel like it.
Yeah.
That's mental toughness.
Yeah.
When people ask me about mental toughness, they're like, okay, so all of the people that you work with, whatever, take all the contexts. What's the one differentiator? Like what separates good from great, or what separates average from good?
Doing it anyway.
And I'm like, wow, that's a darn good question.
Yeah.
And I really thought a lot about it. And this is my answer: self-discipline.
Yeah.
Because that's what you just said. I don't feel like doing it, but I do it anyway. That's called self-discipline. And think about the age that we live in, how difficult self-discipline is, because there's always ice cream pulling us away when we should be eating our vegetables.
Yeah.
And it's called our phones. It's called social media. It's called scrolling. It's called games on your phone. It's called gaming. It's called Wordle. It's called all of the things. And when I work with people that say, oh yeah, I want to be great, I want to be a high performer, I'm like, well, let's talk about your self-discipline. Tell me how we're doing with that. That to me is the differentiator, because self-discipline says, I'm going to eat my vegetables today, even though I don't feel like it. And even better, I know my opponents are eating ice cream. So I'm going to eat vegetables, and that's going to put me ahead of the crowd. So it's the practice of self-discipline, and you're already doing that.
Yeah. You just reminded me of something that my volleyball coach used to say to us. He always would tell us, don't cheat yourself. I love that.
What do you think that meant? Or what did that mean for you?
For me,
yeah,
push myself and do the hard things because it's going to benefit me in the future. I loved when he would say that to us. It would always push all of us to do that last 5 suicides that we needed to run.
Yes. Oh, good old suicides.
Yes.
Bad old suicides, I guess, is more accurate.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. There's something about sports though that I really miss talking to you. There is actually a volleyball gym not that far from here that I still need to go in and just look around, try to meet somebody. Maybe I can get on some recreational team or something.
Well, I bet you could if you want that badly enough. My guess is you'll go get it.
Yeah, I've it's always in the back of my mind. I've kind of always wanted to coach a girls volleyball team too. So we'll see, because my astrology says that I would be a good PE teacher. So probably be a good coach then. And
Great.
I'm waiting for that time to come, because trying to step more into a leadership role myself, in financial services and stuff. I'm trying to build my team and everything. But I need to build me up first in order for that to actually happen and be successful at that. So I'm on my own journey here, and I'm working on it every day. So it's fun though. I love it. I literally am listening to podcasts and YouTube and our mentors for the business all the time and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, just don't cheat yourself.
That's a good one. I also like don't lie to yourself.
Yeah.
Like coming back to all these feelings, things that we've been talking about, pretending that you don't have a feeling, that's lying to yourself. Maybe that's the same as don't cheat yourself then.
Look at that.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's like the old saying about how men have to be so masculine. Like, they're cheating themselves if they can't actually feel what they're feeling, and resisting is making it worse. Like, what did you say earlier about resisting?
What you resist persists.
Persists. Yes. Yeah. And that's why so many guys don't know how to handle their emotions, and some are probably bad in a relationship, and the girl's like, just tell me what's wrong. And he's like, just a stone about it. Yeah.
Well, I will say that we get socialized that way. And I notice the difference when I'm working with athletes. It seems more natural for the girls to talk about things in their heart, and they cry far more easily than the boys that I work with. But I'll tell you where that isn't true is when I work with young athletes. So, 8 and 9-year-olds. And I'm like, wow, isn't this interesting? Look at the boys cry just as easily as the girls. And I'm like, wow, isn't that interesting? I wonder where it is along the line that the boys learn that that's not okay anymore. Interesting.
Right. Yeah. Because you're still learning at that age. 8's pretty young. You're still learning. You're just learning how to navigate your emotions, period, at that point. But yeah, it's almost like right around like maybe 10 years old to maybe 14, you shouldn't be crying anymore.
Yes. And then we get to then what I think that's the opposite of emotional intelligence.
100%.
Push down, avoid, push it under the carpet, hide from it. And yet we want to be emotionally intelligent.
Yeah, that turns us into weaker humans.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. I wish that whole like perception would change, that stereotype. One day.
I think it is. I believe that is changing, but I also believe that big change happens very, very slowly. But I think the needle is changing. Like I even see it in my nephews. I look at the generation that they're in, and I'm like, wow, you do feel your feelings. You do talk about things in your heart. I'm like, wow, I do see many examples of the needle shifting in the right direction.
Okay, good. Yeah, I feel like the needle's definitely shifting when it comes to personal development and things like that. Like people are really catching on nowadays, whereas before I never even had heard of it before I got into financial services.
Right.
Yeah, crazy. And that was like 3 years ago. And now everywhere you look on social media, they're like, do you want to be a better human? Do you want to be better at your business? Do you want to do this? Like, do you want to stop feeling this way? Like,
Mm-hmm.
It's everywhere.
It is. It is everywhere. And that's good. I think that it's great that we're shining a light on that.
For sure.
I think it's been in the dark for so long. And finally, it's like, no, let's put this on the table. Let's talk about it. I think that's very healthy.
Yeah, definitely. I love talking about it. It's like my favorite thing. It's my favorite thing to do, my favorite thing to talk about. I love being around people that are in business and just have that mindset, because I have a new job now where I work at a really wealthy golf course. And I was waiting on a table the other day and they were talking about mindset, talking about some guy's podcast and how he says something to himself 30 times before he gets out of the shower. He has to say it. I don't know what it was, but something probably along the lines of "I am successful" or something like that. So it was just nice to hear people talk that way. I love it.
Refreshing.
Yes, it was. I almost wanted to sit down at the table with them and just listen.
You did. Hey, can I pull up a chair?
Yeah. But it's a nice environment. It's probably the best place I've ever worked. And definitely the last job I will ever have before my business really starts taking off. So
cool.
Yeah, it's nice. But yeah, I hope everyone learns a lot from this episode, because you said a lot of great things. And mental toughness is really important to develop. And I love that everybody can develop it. Like you said, it's a skill. You can learn it and just keep building on it.
Agreed.
Awesome. Well, oh my God. Thank you so much. That was awesome. Where can people find you online?
They can go to my website, which is ShawneeHarle.com. I'm sure you'll probably have this in the show notes.
Yes.
And I'm on social media. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. And I'm also on Twitter. And my handle is Shawnee Harle.
Awesome. That sounds good. Yeah, everything will be in the show notes. And again, thank you so much for being here. Let me catch up with you really quick after this. That was great.
All right.
Awesome. Thank you. Everybody have a good day. Please like, review, share, and subscribe to this podcast, and follow us on Instagram at GetSmartWMoneyPodcast, as well as checking out our website at GetSmartWithMoneyPodcast.com.